spark that ignites the fuel in our minds and drives us towards a startup.
I feel it's an idea that takes a thought to a concrete finished product.
A classic example in front of our eyes is Mr. Vijay Varda. He made it big by paying heed to his thoughts and his innovative idea of 3D printing.
But what is an idea unless it steers the minds of people and creates a buzz among the masses?
Exactly. It is the combined process of branding, marketing, and advertising. So, let us begin with our next session.
Due to last moment emergency, Harshit Desai had to fly to Muscat. We have his team member present with us here today. He has completed his graduation at Sir J.J. School of Arts Applied.
He completed his master's from National Institute of Design.
He is also a founder of Remedios Designs and has worked for Incubation Cell Future Ideas.
Ladies and gentlemen, I, Ragini Betrabed,
And I, Shubham Nahar,
take the pleasure to warmly welcome the Digital Transformation Head of KPMG India, Mr. Gavin Remedios. Give a big round of applause for him.
I would like to request Bharat sir to welcome Mr. Gavin Remedios. Thank you, Bharat sir. Now, without further ado, I would like to request Mr. Gavin Remedios to start the next key session.
You all for coming here, and from my side, this is going to be more of an interactive session, so I'm hoping that you all are ready to participate. Are you all guys ready? I can't hear you all. Great. Okay. So to begin with, while everyone has a perception of what a brand is, I wanted to hear from you guys, what do you all think a brand is? So if anybody can... I thought you all were ready to participate. No one? Great. Great. What else? So we have perception, we have image in a customer's mind. What else? Okay. 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 Great. So I think you're all on the right track. Yeah. Excellent. Okay. So many people usually think that when you're talking about branding, it's about your product or your logo. And I'm glad to hear some of the comments that I've got so far from the people who have participated here, because it's not just the product, it's not just the logo. It is much, much deeper than that, right? It is what people think. So many a times when you talk about brands, brands are usually stories. Okay, they're stories and they're emotional associations that you have with a product. Now, what are these emotional associations? Can anybody give me an example? Any favorite product? Yeah, Maggie. Maggie was banned for so long. What was the feeling like? Right? So who said Maggie? I heard it from you. Why Maggie? What is the association that you have with Maggie? I didn't get you.
To campaign.
Okay. So I'm a big sports fan, all right? And I believe that in many places, Nike has been at the forefront of selling its brand through these stories. Okay, so this is just one particular ad which talks about someone's struggle and their achievement, or what they have done and what they have done in order to gain success. Okay, Now, Kobe Bryant as an athlete, for example, was injured 2 years ago. He suffered an Achilles injury, okay? And immediately the next year after coming back from that injury, Nike launched a pair of shoes which had 4 stitch marks where his Achilles tendon was operated. Now, this is a perfect example of a company using their brand idol and infusing the story of their journey through their products, right? So if you see that, those 4 lines are the 4 stitches on his left heel, left Achilles tendon, and the other icon is a significance of a villain and a hero. So as a player, while he would go in opposite arenas, he was looked at as a villain because he was a good player and he would tend to be the one who would prohibit the home team from a victory. Whereas in his own arena, he was looked at as a hero. So these were 2 elements that Nike took out and said that in this year, which is his last and final year, they're going to make a customized product for him which has parts of his story in it. I think we all know about Tata Motors. While it's a big brand in India and it has recently obviously acquired Jaguar Land Rover, it still never created the buzz or the perception that a Maruti had in this market. You know, when people still look at Tata Motors, they still look at it as a truck, as a car that would start going rickety after a while, right? So recently, obviously, they roped in Messi. Now, I'm not saying that roping in an idol or roping in a brand ambassador necessarily changes the perception, but that is the mission of every company, to eventually change the perception of what people feel about any particular product. Because if you don't feel good about the product, you're not going to buy it. Now, besides this, I think there is another side to it. While each of us, and I think I explained to one of the students here only on my way here, he asked me, what is it that makes people believe so much about a brand? So I spoke to him and I told him that a brand builds its strength not just from the believers, but also from the non-believers. And why, you might ask? It's because people love to fight about what is good in the product that they like and love to support that. Some people here will say, oh, I love Maggi, and even if Top Ramen is available, I'm not going to buy it. I'll wait for Maggi to be restocked and then I'll go and buy it. Another classic example is, I'll get back to that, is Android and iOS, right? You have many supporters of either version and each willing to go tooth and neck to prove which one is better. Am I right? There's no factual evidence that either one is better, but both have their say. And this entire thing actually, if you look back, it comes from one of the things that binds all of us together, which is religion. And if anybody's ever looked at religion, religion was given to man just to give you rules and regulations of how to live your life. But it also created such a divide that it became, my religion is better than yours. This is the right way. This is the right God. This is the only one. So these are the things that many a brand has taken and incorporated into their DNA. Okay, I'll just go up one slide. Some of you might be familiar with this, that over the last few weeks, it has been going on everyone's Facebook account. Now, I'm not saying that this is right or wrong, but I think it's fair to say that we had enough of supporters and enough of detractors as well. Right? Facebook, obviously, because it has already built up such an enormous mass of people, it could very easily influence people through this. Okay? That's the downside of branding. when a brand incorporates that much power that it can influence people even unknowingly. All right? Now, if you look at this, I'll talk about two particular points here. One was the fact that, and when a communication like this is sent, it is sent with one important ingredient in mind, that Facebook wants to show you that it is doing better for the whole country. It's showing you its altruistic side. Okay? However, that is a facade. All right? That's only to sell a story. So that is the first part of this communication, if you see. And the second part is that the moment you say that you support this, it wants you to share it with your friends. Now, can anybody tell me why does it want to share it with your friends? Sorry? Yeah. We are most influenced by our peers. Okay? If you saw this ad coming up over and over again on your screen by many of your colleagues who are studying with you, you are bound to get influenced by it. You're bound to think that if so many people from my college like this, am I a fool to not be supporting it? You begin to start questioning your own judgment, right? And that's where brands have sometimes the power to influence or persuade us in a not so good way. So who makes brands? Sorry? Exactly. I'm glad that you all said that, because it's not marketers or companies that define brands. It's actually you. You know, it's what you feel about a product, and any product, whatever you feel about it, that is what the brand is. It's never something else. It's exactly what you feel about it. Now I want you guys to tell me, what is the emotional attachment with this particular brand? Can we have the mic shared with students? Yeah, hello. Put your hand up if you would like to share what is your emotion.
Hello, my name is Suraj and I study in this institute. My emotional association with this brand is this event which we are enjoying right now. This is the source of inspiration over the period of time which we are doing other activities, and that's what. Any other VIIT students?
I'm sure there are a lot here.
Yes, maybe they're shy.
Come on, this is your college. So, what are the associations that you have? Is it the canteen? Is it the friends? What is it? The teachers?
Hello, I'm Ankita. I'm also a student of EIIT, and my emotional association with this brand is my teachers. They support us daily and build. They are helping us to build our uh, our ethics, our values, and that's great thing.
Great, thank you. Who else? Do you guys like your college? I'm not getting any love for the college here. Really, nothing. So, what if you go out and you're placed and you get some amazing offer from Google? Will you then look at your college fondly? Really, no one has anything to say about the college. Okay. The principal is here. All right. We shall move on. Okay. I think somebody has already touched upon this, and this is one of the biggest factors that influence a brand. Okay. It is trust. You know, when we look at, I think the last speaker just spoke about Flipkart being one of the brands that has gone through. There are very few success stories, and we'll only hear about the key ones. But those brands that succeed inevitably do because they manage to build trust. Okay? And that is probably the most crucial ingredient for the success of your company and your brand. Small test here. How many people feel that Flipkart is the most trustworthy brand? Put your hands up. Simple. You don't have to say anything, just put your hands up. Hands up. Okay. Amazon. Okay. I'll just take a picture of this. Snapdeal. Okay. All these companies are successful, mind you. All right. The owners of these companies have done really well for themselves. And these companies are thriving businesses. But the story in the room, and the story is no different anywhere else in India. All right. Amazon does have more trust than Flipkart and Snapdeal. Now you might ask why. Flipkart is Desi company, you know, we should support it. Amazon is just put .in after that, right? Snapdeal is an Indian company. But it's actually not just about the company, but it's about how they keep on delighting you as a user, as a customer, you know? And that is where the key essence of these brands are built. Flipkart might have built that trust, but they've also broken it, which is why not everybody will have their hand up. Amazon might invest till they die probably to make sure that everybody is satisfied. And Snapdeal, well, the story said it all. Something about being unique, okay? Do any of you all recognize this product? Yeah, okay. Now, if you look at the camera market, you have the two iconic brands, Canon and Nikon. But what does it take for a new product to suddenly come up and say that, we want to share in this marketplace? It takes you a good deal of differentiation. You have to be different. And GoPro did that. They identified one unique aspect, which was action photography, and they capitalized just on that aspect. They're not saying that they are the best DSLR camera. They're not saying that they have Kalki's lens. They're just saying that we're good with action photography. And if that's what you're looking for, come to us. Right? So what are the components in a brand? Anybody? Usually it is their values. The values that the company stands for, the benefits that they provide, and most importantly, like I just said, the promise that it gives to the customer, and the reiterating of that promise day after day after day after day. That is what the components of a brand are. So I think this slide is quite self-explanatory. It's about the difference between a product and a brand. A product is built in a factory. It can be replicated, somebody else can copy it. It can come in and die out in like no time. A brand takes time. Mind you, I know that this is a startup encouragement thing, but never be under the impression that you have started up your business today and you already have that brand equity. That is something that is going to take time. It's going to take investment in your customers, and it's going to happen over time. It will never happen within a day, within a month, or within a year. These are some of the attributes that people look at when they see a brand. And in a similar manner, any brand that you create, people will look at it and have a perception of it. Whether that perception is right or wrong is not really for you to say. You can do as much as you can, but it's the user's perception that matters the most. So when you look at when you think about the word imagination, there's usually just one brand that comes to mind, right? And that's because they have, for years and years, built on just this key word. They tell stories, but it's all through imagination. It's fantasy, right? Safety. Volvo isn't the most popular car, but if you ask anybody about the standards of safety, that is the number one brand that will stand out. I just touched about this, that brands don't grow overnight, so don't ever think that today you have a brand and tomorrow it's everybody should be automatically loving it or talking about it. It will happen, but it will happen over time if you continue to work on it. I think this is a very important part. So one of the things that makes these companies build the trust and build that essence amongst all its stakeholders is how it aligns itself to its business and the behavior of not just, let's say, for example, if Flipkart is a brand and Flipkart treats its customers well, that is one point for it. But how does Flipkart treat its vendors? Okay, that's equally important. How does Flipkart treat its employees? That's equally important. All those things put together will create a good aura for the company. This is how you can build brands through different methods. Some of these brands are built up through planning and general marketing, advertising. Some are built up on purely imagery. So when you look at the fashion brands or the more luxury brands, they are all built up through imagery because it's about users wanting to attain a particular lifestyle or a particular self of image, right? There are some which are based on customer experience. So typically hotels, airlines, you'll find these hospitality industries, tourism, they're all built on customer experiences, absolutely wowing a customer through their entire journey and all their different touch points. I think this is very important. To me, this is the pinnacle of brand success. When you can actually, when a brand becomes a verb, quite literally. So often now we have not said that we're searching for something. We say that let's Google it, right? And that's become synonymous with how Google is referred right now, right? Xerox. We almost don't even remember. If I had to just give you all the logo of Xerox, you all would have said, what? Where is that? Haven't seen it, right? Because it's something that we have almost completely forgotten about, but when we need a photocopy, it's Xerox. Photoshop. It's one of the more newer ones on this list, but again, image editing is the word that we are supposed to be referring to. Yet we say, oh, that person's face has been photoshopped. There's no pimples on the face, right? This is an exercise for you, all right? And I really want at least 5 students to share this right now, okay? I'm going to help you create your story through 5 different attributes about you, okay? So this is a framework that I've created. Each one of us, for example, does have a family, does have something to do, we're working somewhere, we're educated, we have certain interests, we have certain social hobbies, right? And each one of us can actually fill this up. So what I want you to do is to just take 5 minutes and fill up your role in all these 5 brackets. 5 students will share this with me. You can take a picture of it, or you can just look at it and just make notes in your notepad. Should the students be picked up randomly, or will you all volunteer? Randomly? Talk about social, I'm referring to who you are with your friends. Where do you like hanging out? When I'm talking about interest, it's about your hobbies, your passion. You might be studying engineering, but you might be a sports fan, you might dance, you might be singing. Your education, obviously you'll have an education, you'll have gone to school, you're currently studying here. Your role in your family. Each and every one of you will have parents, siblings, uncles, aunties, and then it's company. Obviously, it would not matter for too many of you right now, but I just want you to start filling in 2 points at least on this.
Hi, my name is Abdul Khan. This is my story. In my family, I have my uncle, my aunt, and my brother. There's 4 of us. I'm very close to my uncle. I work at a startup called easobuy.com. I work for them as a business developer, and my roles include talking to vendors, onboarding vendors, as well as overseeing the development of our website. College I haven't been to. My schooling was done right here in Pune in a school called City International School. Social, I have a lot of friends from all over the world actually, because I grew up in Saudi Arabia. Then my favorite friends have to be the ones I have in Pune. My hobbies include playing football. I'm an avid Real Madrid supporter. And I play a lot of video games, and I code. That's it.
Great, thank
you.
Anybody else? Actually, just give me the mic 1 second. So if amongst those attributes, which one do you think is the one that makes you you? If you had to just tell me one of those attributes, which one would it be?
I do a lot of things, but I guess football would make me what I am, because I'm an avid Real Madrid football fan, and actually play a lot of football.
Great, thanks.
Thank you.
So that's his unique attribute, right? He might be a lot of things. And similarly with every particular brand, it will do a lot of things. There will be operation side of it, there will be marketing, there will be many aspects to the brand. There will be internal customers, external customers, vendors, partners, yada, yada, yada. But a brand will always want to be known for one particular thing. And this exercise is just to sensitize you to what is that unique attribute about you, which you can eventually translate to any brand or any company that you want to start up, or any brand that you're working with and would like to help them identify that, right? So for example, if you look at mine, I am a lot of things like you saw on the screen above, but I take great pride in the fact that I was one of 15 students selected to go to National Institute of Design in the year, right? So that's something that I am immensely proud of. That's something that I like to talk about, right? Anybody else? You can only share the unique path.
Hello, I am Tahir Chopra from MIT, Pune. My members of the family are my mom, dad, and brother. I am a student, a deep interest in project making and coding. My friends are my college friends only, which are with me right now here. I love to watch F1 Formula races and keen interest in cars. I am one of the 5 students selected in ICANN NASA, which was held in Kuwait, and I'm studying in MIT College, Pune.
Great. So what is that unique aspect about you? What would you like people to know you for? If they could remember you for just one thing, what would it be?
My dreams are for inventing a car which runs on waters, which consists of totally water transports. So I think that I would be able to do some like coding stuff or something, which helps to run cars on water or something.
Great. Thank you. Anybody else?
Hello everyone. My name is Sreyash Divkar, and in my family there are 4 members, which is my mom, dad, my sister and me, and I'm very close to my sister. I don't have any work experience, and my friends right now have grown very close to my college classmates because of my really good hostel life. Further moving on, I love driving and trekking, and I'm a student of IFEEL College Lonavala, and I'm a proud ECL and I4 member. I'm a member of 2 committees in IFEEL, and that's it.
What is your most unique feature that you would like people to know you about? Because of?
I'm a very responsible person when needed, but I'm a very, on the other side of a crazy and a kiddish person with my friends.
Oh, great. Thank you. Anybody else? One more? Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. I am from the same college that Shreyas is, the Management College. And although I am pursuing my PGDM, I am an international violin player. So I think that's the quality that I have, which is unique.
Great. Thank you so much. Right? So I'm sure each and every one of you has written something, and even if you haven't had the time right now, I'd suggest that you go home, think about it, and fill this up. The idea of this test, like I explained, it's more of a self-awareness test, but it is something that you will be able to use somewhere down the line to build either a brand or a company that you want to start, or even if it is just to identify what is your key strength and how would you like the world to perceive you. After all, it's not, when we talk about brands, it's not just about the brands that we buy or the brands that are out there in the world. You yourself also are a brand. And I think that is very, very important. How you are perceived by the world is your responsibility. So your education is just a step in that direction. The place that you work is just a step in that direction. The family and the upbringing that you've had is just a step in that direction. But you have control of how you want people to perceive you. And that journey is just starting right now as you will go and, work. I have 2 videos to share. They are 2 different companies that have a unique selling proposition, and this is just the way that they have marketed themselves. And then we can open up for questions. Thank you. Any questions?
So, my name is Sreyash Divkar. So, considering two brands, that is Volkswagen and Rahul Gandhi, right now, we all know what happened to Volkswagen, the scandal. So, what do you think Volkswagen should do to spoil its, to improve his brand image right now? Should they just keep quiet and take care of the old customers, or right now position themselves as a better brand after the scandal which happened? And what is your take of how Rahul Gandhi can improve his personal image in the market?
Firstly, I don't think Rahul Gandhi can improve his personal image. Um, sorry, I usually don't comment on political matters, but regards to Volkswagen, there are number of things that they could do. I was having a discussion with my friends the other day when I read about this Bangalore, a couple that had driven all the way from Bangalore to, I think, Paris, and that was sponsored by Linea, Fiat, right? I was like, I'm up for that if Volkswagen is willing to sponsor me, and I'll drive up to Germany if need be. So I think there are a number of things a brand can do. There's always a recovery part, but it's not an instant part, you know, and it is going to take time. Obviously, given the size that the brand has and the scale of their operations, there's no quick fix solution for overnight making Volkswagen what customers believed it was before this cheating scandal erupted.
Good evening, sir. So, what is the difference between marketing and branding?
Marketing is what people do in order to propagate the qualities of a particular company. Branding is what you feel about a particular company, right? So if I can give you an example, marketing will involve, if I am part of KPMG, I will talk to you about what KPMG is. I will show you flyers about their ads, about how we treat our customers. I will tell you the whole scope of what KPMG does. But at the end, what you feel is what KPMG brand means to you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
This is the last question.
Hello, sir. Myself, Manish Bukadia. Sir, once the brand name is established, is it necessary to do marketing at that level, which was done before the brand name was established?
Can you elaborate with an example?
Like Apple. Now, many people like Apple for their namesake. So I am asking that if a brand name is established, so is it necessary to give more efforts in marketing after the brand name is established?
I think I touched upon this earlier when I spoke about Amazon and Flipkart. The thing about establishing a brand name, and like he also said about Volkswagen, is that at any given moment, that name can be brought down to its knees, right? Anything can happen and that name can be brought down to its knees. So typically companies will always keep on investing in delighting their customers, because that's not something that you can ever take for granted, right? No matter how big the brand is. I mean, today we are here, we're talking, we are raving about Apple. But if this conference was held probably a decade ago, we would have been raving about Nokia, right?
Right.
And it's no more.
Yes, sir.
Right? So it needs to be hammered down people continuously, and you need to keep on investing in that in order to strengthen that perception.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me.